Cape Town, how you doing? Okay, so the question on most of your minds is, what the hell is Danny K doing on the speaking circuit now, right? Doesn't this guy do enough? Well, I'll tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not here to help your business pivot, work on new strategy, HR. They're better guys than that at USB. What I am here to do is tell you about the dreams of a young South African boy who was taught to dream big, who succeeded, failed a lot more than he succeeded, and came out the other side 20 years into the cutthroat, shark-infested waters of the South African music business. I grew up different. That's me. Different. In 1977, I was born to Gavin and Pam Koppel. Music was my life. While other kids were on the sports fields or watching television, I was listening to the greats of Motown. My father fed me a strict diet of soul, blues, and R&B. Stevie Wonder. Very superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious ladders about to fall. Marvin. I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And Michael said, you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. Said you wanna be, ow! I could do them all. I could tell you who wrote the album, produced it, the year it was written, what studio it was recorded in. I became obsessed. And I was taught to never believe in my own limitations, to dream big, to not be scared of being different. And I was different. At 16 years old, I was ready to make a move into the music business. I heard that the biggest R&B producer in the country worked at a studio called Downtown at the corner of Goat and Fox Streets in Johannesburg. This is where Hugh Masekela, Johnny Clegg, and Ladysmith Black Mambazo worked. I went in the lift, went up to Studio 4C, and found Alexis sitting at a baby grand piano. I introduced myself. I said, hi, my name's Danny. I'm an R&B singer. He looked at me with a puzzled expression on his face, but I said, can I audition for you? He said, sure. If you can sing Stevie Wonder's Lately, I'll consider working with you. Now, let me tell you something about Stevie Wonder's Lately. It's probably one of the most difficult songs to sing if you're a vocalist, but hey, I knew Stevie Wonder. So I said, lately I have the strangest feeling with no vivid reason here to find. I think I kind of did the head movements as well. Where Alexa stood up, gave me a hug, and said, I'll work with you. He would be my mentor. Unbeknown to us, we would face 7 years of the most gut-wrenching, soul-destroying rejection we ever felt in our lives. We were rejected by every label in South Africa. Warner, Gallo, Sony, Universal. No one wanted us. And why? Because I was different. Because rock, reggae, and kwaito were the big musical genres of the day. And no one wanted a white kid singing R&B music. But hey, what's wrong with being different? I still believed there was space for me. I had an alternative, but to go to university, I got a degree in law, went to Wits Business School, and did my MBA. And I started working a 9 to 5 at an investment bank. All this time, this burning desire to be a musician lived in my heart. And in one last-ditch effort, I sent a demo to a small independent label called Electromode. And just like that, I was signed. 7 years of rejection had turned around in 1 second because of persistence. And Alexis and I were over the moon. So what did I learn about rejection over 7 years in my career? That it was okay to be different. That there's only one of you, so why the hell be like anyone else? I learned to believe and persevere in my dreams and to not let someone else's opinion of me become my reality. In 1999, this came out. Who remembers this?
Now I'm all alone and it hurts so bad. I didn't see it, but she came between us, and baby, it drives me.
My debut single. No one knew if I was Indian, colored, Greek, and that was fantastic. But I was South African. And the result? The song went to number 1 on the charts. Thank you. I became an overnight success. And for so many of us, isn't that true in life? You work your whole life, and in 1 second, you're an overnight sensation. Then the most amazing thing happened to me. The biggest record label in the world, Polydor Universal, phoned my management, heard of my success, and flew me over to London to sign an unprecedented deal, the likes of which no South African artist had ever seen before. The press pegged me to be the artist to take South African music to the international stage. I relocated to London and began to work with the biggest and the best, introduced as the next big thing. I was about to fly to Miami to shoot a $1 million music video with the biggest music video director in the world, and my British manager phoned me. His name was Ian Ashbridge, and the call went like this. Hello, Danny. Oh, what's up, Ian? How you doing? Yeah, good, mate. Good, and you? Yeah. So I got some rather troubling news, mate. What's that? Well, you see, mate, you've been sacked. Sorry, what? Yeah, mate. Polydor have dropped you. Your album's gone. It's all over. Sorry, bye. And I was like, what? Now, it's kind of hard to process that news, you know? But in a second, it was over. You see, to cut a really long story short, the guy that had signed me at Polydor was fired. And in a vindictive move against him, my project was kicked out the door. I was collateral damage. And I was devastated. It was over. As quickly as it had begun, it was over for me. I flew back to South Africa, a defeated man. I had to face the press, my fans, and more importantly, my own failure. It took me a few weeks, but that same resilience that got me through those 7 years showed its face. I picked myself back up, and I got back behind the mic. And I guess, while some of the press were kind to me, I really learned to deal with a lot of the haters that were happy to see me fall. And then, on the 8th of June 2003, shortly after that, my life would change forever. That was the year that I would tragically lose my brother in an accident. My brother was my manager, he was my best friend, and he was helping me rebuild the fabric of my career together. Just that I'd gotten back on my feet, I fell. Even today, it's difficult for me to speak about this. Turn that music up a bit, please. It's difficult for me to speak about this, but I wrote this song, which I'll sing for you today, which helped me and helped so many others fight through hurt. It's called I Can't Imagine.
I can't imagine my life without you. No, I can't imagine, but now I have to. And I'd give anything to see you again. It's true.
That song helped me heal, and I dedicated my album to my brother, J for his name, Jaron, and 23 for the year that the age he was when he passed away. The album received an unprecedented 5 South African Music Awards that year, and it was a great commercial success to me. I felt proud of myself that I'd fought through that pain and gotten back on my feet. I went to the Psalmers that year and was seated front and center. The press really billed me to have a very big night. And what happened? I lost every single award that night. And what was more devastating to me than losing those awards was the fact that I never got to stand on stage and commemorate my brother. I retreated back into my room at the Sun City Hotel and was really ready again to hang up my microphone and quit. Through the tears, and there were a lot of them that night, I'm man enough to say it, I glanced at the bedside clock and the time read 23:23. Now, call it luck, call it fate, call it my brother speaking to me from the other side. But I found the strength then and there to dry my eyes, put my suit back on, and go to the after party and get hell of a drunk, which is probably... And 24 months later, I was back on the Psalmer stage, winning Album of the Year for an album called This Is My Time. Thank you. So what did I learn about turning tragedy to triumph in your life? Well, firstly, I learned that life is short, a cliche, but that every day is precious, and that we really need to make the most of the precious time we have here. That failure and disappointment can be a blessing to you. You see, when I was fired from Polydor, I got to come back to South Africa and spend the last 12 months of my brother's life with him. And I wouldn't have traded that for any level of success or international deal. And most importantly, I learned that pain is temporary, but that quitting lasts forever. After my brother died, I really felt that I had a guardian angel on my shoulder. My career really blossomed. I was the first South African invited where? On the Oprah Winfrey Show, to sing with the legendary Ladysmith Black Mambazo. We stood in front of the world and sang, "Homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake." Somebody say, somebody sing, "Hello, hello, hello, Eshe, Eshe." I had #1 singles, #1 albums, and was selling out concerts. And it's then that I decided to take the biggest risk of my career, and that was work with a scar. Hey! Everyone said it would be career suicide, but what life is really about for me is taking risks, thinking outside the box. The doubters doubted us, please believe me. The result? Our album went gold in 2 weeks. We became the face of the new South Africa, working through our difference to create something magical. Our album was called Same Difference. And really our message, unbeknown to us, was that as South Africans, we make the most beautiful things when we work together. It was then that I got the privilege of meeting Madiba and working with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Madiba taught me something interesting. He taught me that it was important to use my success and my profile for something other than myself, to pay it forward, to give it back. In 2007, Lucky Dube would be murdered in a hijacking in Rosettenville, a catalyst, red-letter day for me, the day that Kabelo Mabalani and I would start Shout. Shout was the biggest collaboration of South African musicians from across the genre spectrum. It was a message of hope, of prosperity, and defiance against the perils of South Africa that we find ourselves surrounded by, crime and violence. It became the biggest downloaded song in South African music history. South Africans were waiting for a clarion call, and this epiphany moment that I had after the death of Lucky Dube came to fruition. With the money, we would focus on education, and still do today, turning dull, dreary container libraries like these into inspirational places where kids can learn, develop. This one is down the road in Mitchell's Plain, at a school in Mitchell's Plain called Eisleben, just down the road from here, and we're still committed to doing that. So ladies and gentlemen, this is some of the stuff that my speech is about. I'll be keen to come into your organizations and speak about these things, because I think it's a story of a regular South African boy, and like your staff or like you, we all are capable of so much. And my ultimate lesson is that I believe that it's the way we react to the challenges in our lives that ultimately shape the future that we create for ourselves. And on that note, it's how I'm still standing. Thank you very much.